Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, Naaseh v'Natzliach. Welcome to another session of our Parashat Shavua class here at Sharei Ezra. This week's Parashat is Parashat Vayetze. Before we get started on the class called...
Please, maybe speak little Hebrew, little English.
We'll do. Be'ezrat Hashem, that this class will be to the Ilui Nishmat of Yosef ben Avraham,
Isha Aliza bat Zohara.
Isha Aliza bat Zohara,
Machluf ben
Tamu, Rachel bat Mazal,
Recha bat Rachma.
Recha bat Rachma,
Rabbi David ben
Aziza.
Mashiach ben Miriam.
Mashiach
ben Miriam. Mordechai ben Tzviya.
Mordechai ben Tzviya.
Tzviya bat Leah. Yaakov Yosef ben Avraham Neta. And also to David ben Zohara, Yaniv ben Rina, Michel ben Zohara, and Aviv ben Vivi. Also, this should be to the success. Well, first of all, this class is in honor of Tova Shindel bat Alta, and also should be to the general success of Judah Mendel, Yosef ben Ezra, Stacy Esther bat Miriam, Henshi Gordetsky and family, Moshe ben Anna, Avraham ben Daniel, and to Avraham ben Viret Chaya, and to all the people that are listening online, Shashem Vayetze, and Be'ezrat Hashem, everyone gets a big aliyah from this Torah lesson. Okay. Last week's parasha in Perek Chavchet, from Pasuk Aleph to Pasuk Hey, it talks about the instruction of Yitzchak telling Yaakov, Vayikra Yitzchak el Yaakov, Vayivarech oto. Yitzchak blessed Yaakov, Vayitzavehu, and he commands him, Vayomer lo, lo tikach isha b'not Canaan. He tells him, listen, don't take a wife from the woman from Canaan. Kum lech padena aram, Beta Betuel Avimecha. Go to this place, Padan Aram. Over there is going to be the house of Betuel, the father of your mother. In other words, your grandfather. And take from there, from the daughters of Lavan, who's the brother of your mother. And he gets a big blessing from his father. And he gives them a big blessing that is going to transcend generations. Now, just so we have an idea, right now, when he's getting this instruction from his father, Yaakov is 63 years old. 63 years old. On the way to the house of Lavan, he takes a detour. 14 years in the yeshiva of Shemen Ever. He finally gets to his final destination, to the house of Lavan, at the age of 77. When we get to Perek Chavtet, it gives us the entire. It recounts the entire story of how we get there. We're going to go through it. We're going to skip from pasuk to pasuk, in order for us to get the main points of each one. Once we have a bunch of the layers of the story, we can sort of zone in and get into the lesson of tonight. It says, Vayisa Yaakov raglav velech arsa bnei kedem. That's it, he's on his way. Vayar v'ineh be'er basadeh v'ineh sham shosha edretzot rovtzim aleha. He comes now, he's seeing, imagine, he's coming to a new town, and he sees that there's a be'er, and on top of this be'er is this huge rock. And all of a sudden he sees that all the sheep herders are coming, and they're together pushing the stone off in order to give water to their animals. And when they're done, when they're done, you know, right here, you would say, like, you know, what a strange way. Like, why does this have to be a stone on top of the be'er? Why do you have to wait for everybody to come over there and fill it up? So it's very interesting. Padan Aram, everybody over there is Ramaim. Nobody trusts nobody. So what they do, they made it that nobody can take water unless everybody's there. You know, there's no honor amongst thieves. There's no you can come in the middle of the night, give all your animals all the water. When we're here, together we push the rock and then we put it back together. You know, there's no honor amongst thieves.
Excuse me, how old was Yaakov?
77.
77.
We continue. Vayomer lam Yaakov, Achai, ma'ayin atem, vayomer mechan anachnu. He starts to talk to them, gets into a conversation. Where are you from? They tell him Haran. He's getting closer to his destination. Vayomer lahem, haidatem et Lavan ben Achov, vayomer yadanu. Again, getting closer. He's looking for Lavan. Yeah, we know who you're talking about. Vayomer lahem hashalom lo, vayamru shalom, v'hinei Rachel bito haba im hatzon. Oh, wow! What a chance encounter. He's looking for Haran. He's in the area. He's looking for Lavan. They know him. And all of a sudden, who do we see? His youngest daughter, Rachel, coming. Skip to Pasuk Yud. ויהי כאשר ראה יעקב את רחל בת לבן אחי אמו ואת צאן לבן אחי אמו ויגש יעקב ויגל את העבד מעל פי הבאר וישק את צאן לבן אחי אמו. As soon as he saw his family, quote unquote his future bride, he comes and he takes this big rock that took many people to push over. He took it off by himself on his own. I saw it somewhere abroad. There's like a pkak. You know, it's like a pkak, like a bottle cap. He was able to take it off. The strength of Yaakov Avinu is unbelievable. We sometimes imagine him as Ish Tam Yoshev Alim, like the Torah learner, like he's like some sort of like a weak yeshiva bachar. He was a very powerful man that he was able to do this feat. So Yaakov sees Rachel. Pasuk Yud Gimel, it says, ויחי ישמוע לבן את שמע יעקב בן אחותו, וירוץ לקראתו, ויחבק לו, וינשק לו, ויביאו אל ביתו, ויספר ללבן כל הדברים האלה. It says, when Lavan heard, who's in town? Yaakov. Who's Yaakov? The son of Yitzchak. He was like, oh, I know this family. Last time he was here, Abraham sent his servant, Eliezer. And Eliezer came with gold and animals and gifts. He's like, wow, if this is the grandson of Abraham, he's probably extremely wealthy. He ran to him. Because Lavan Arami is Lavan Aramai. He always has an ulterior motive. Oh, welcome, I'm so happy that you're here. But in reality, he's coming to check, how much money can I rob from him? Where's all the gold? The Midrash says, Vaychabek lo, vaynashek lo. What did he do? He's hugging him, but he's patting him down. Where's the bag of coins? Where is it? Is it on the side? Is it by the legs? Where is it? He says, Vaynashek lo. It was as rude enough as to give him a kiss to see if maybe he has something in his mouth that he's hiding. Furthermore, Vaysaper leLavan et kol hadvarim ha'eleh. And now Yaakov begins to tell him a story. He tells him, let me tell you, you're patting me down, you're looking for gold. Let me tell you, I don't have $1 to my name. What happened? We know that Yaakov ran away from his evil brother Esav. When Esav heard that Yaakov is on the way to Lavan Arami, he sent his son Eliphaz. Eliphaz happened to be also the student of Yaakov. Very touchy situation. Eliphaz is doing kibud avaim. He says, my father told me to kill you. Yaakov tells Eliphaz, I'm your rabbi, you want to kill me? He goes to him, listen, Rabbi, you taught me something. You told me that 3 people are considered dead. Which one? Somebody who's blind, somebody who's not married, and somebody who is poor. So if you don't want me to kill you, I have to make you poor. So give me all your clothes, give me all your money, give me everything that you don't have nothing on you, and it's considered like I killed you. Keep in mind, Yaakov could have crushed Eliphaz in a second. But he's thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What a control he had as an uncle, what control he had as a teacher, as a rabbi. He let him take everything. And imagine, Yaakov is coming from the royal family. Yitzchak is a melech. Abraham is a melech. You know what? They had everything. They were the wealthiest people.
Special family.
Huh?
Special family.
Very special, to come to the point that he doesn't have bread to eat, he doesn't have water to drink, he doesn't have a shekel to his name, he doesn't have clothes. He says that he left him naked and he had to go jump into the river. He jumped into the river not to be naked. He stayed there for 3 days. He almost fainted and died in that river until came an officer from the army who, they said it was a very hot day and he wanted to jump into the river to cool down. The river killed him. Something happened in the river where he passed away. Yaakov was able to come out, take his clothes and take his horse and continue his journey. So when he says, "Vayisaper leLavan et kol hadvarim ha'ele," he's coming to tell him, I'm here. My father sent me to come and marry one of your daughters, and I don't have anything, because typically when you come to marry a girl, you come from up top. I'll take care of her, I have a house, I have a car, I have a business, I'll pay for the wedding. Here comes Yaakov with what? Nothing.
Yeah.
And Lavan being Lavan Aramai, you can imagine his disappointment. Okay? Let's continue. Pasuk Tetzain continues to say, "Ullavan shte banot, Shem hagedola Leah, v'Shem haketana Rachel." Now this is very interesting because they're giving us information over here. Shte banot, we already know. Their names, Leah and Rachel, this is a chidush. Now we're learning the names. That one is Gedolah and one is Ketana is also very interesting. Why? Because just like Esav and Yaakov were twins, Rachel and Leah were twins also. And Leah is the one that came out first. So there's a distinction over here who the Bechorah is, letting us know. Furthermore, it tells us, Ve'ene Leah rakot. V'Rachel hayta yefat toar v'yefat mar'eh. Leah had eyes that she used to cry so much that she lost her eyelashes. And why did she cry so much? Because they knew. Rivka had twins. Lavan had twin boys. Lavan had twin girls. What they say?
That was tough.
Perfect match. The Gdola to the Gdola and the Ktana to the Katan. Right? So what she was going to be with Esav. And she cried because she didn't want to be with this Rasha. As a matter of fact, she used to go every day into the street and ask, what did you hear about Esav? Or he murdered. What did you hear about Esav? Or he killed. What did you hear about Esav? He robbed. He stole. And every time she would hear that, it would make her cry in order to pray extra. Please, Hashem, I don't want to end up with this guy. I don't want this zivug. Not only that, she cried so much that what she was famously known for was Fa'inayim Rakot. On contrast, V'Rachel hayta yefat toar v'yefat mar'eh. Again, what's yefat toar and what's yefat mar'eh? Yefat toar, Chazal tell us, she had a beautiful shape. She was a beautiful girl. Yefat mar'eh, her klaster, the face was pretty. In other words, perfect girl. According to Hasidut, it says Yefat Toar v'Yefat Mar'eh, that she was beautiful on the outside, but she was also beautiful on the inside. Okay, so we have over here Leah, which looks like we have a situation over here, and then we have Rachel, which seems to be like the perfect bride. Pasuk Yudchet continues to say, "Vayehav Yaakov et Rachel, vayomer, evdecha sheva shani berachel bitcha ketana." Yaakov says, "I choose this one. I want the little one. I want Rachel, and I know that the way is that you can't skip. You have to marry the older one, then you marry the younger one. That's the way of the world. The way of the world is you don't skip children; they go according to order." He says, "I know, but because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work for her." By the way, I want you to know that some families and religious families nowadays, when that happens, deep traumatic scars, emotional scars that people go through. I know a person that the family skipped him, and they married the younger son, or the younger son before him, 42 years old, he still can't get over it. Traumatized, can't get over it. It's not so simple. It's something that still holds today, that people marry off by the order. Furthermore, Pasuk Chaf Hey, and we're almost done with reading this section. In Pasuk Chaf Hey, we see that there is an arrangement that Yaakov is going to marry Rachel. Rachel tells Yaakov, my father is a Ramai. He's not going to let you marry me. I'm telling you. As much as he's going to give you a hard time, he's going to trick you. He tells her, if he's going to trick me, I'm going to trick him. We're going to have a sign together. It says like this, Pasuk Chafei, when what did he do in the time that they had the wedding? He brought Leah instead of Rachel. Yaakov wakes up, is like, what's going on? Here is Leah. ויאמר לבן, מה זאת עשית לי? You tricked me. הלא ברחל עבדתי עמך, ולמה רימיתני? He says the deal was for Rachel. First of all, a little bit of details about the wedding. The wedding, by the way, was on Friday night. What was on Friday night? He knows that Yaakov can't turn on the light to check, so it's going to be dark. That's number one. Number two, Yaakov knew that he was going to trick. So what did he do? He gave her signs. He tells her, I'm going to give you the signs. When we get married, I'm going to check that it's you, so we don't get tricked. What was the sign? He tells her, I'm going to tell you Chana. What's Chana? It says the three things that a Jewish woman needs to know. Chala, Nida, Hadlakat HaNer. He says, if you tell me Chala, Nida, Hadlakat HaNer, I know it's you. Derech Agav, that's what China is. You know, nowadays China is you put a little bit on your hand over here, you dance with cookies on your head, and you think that that's what the whole ceremony is. The whole China is taking the woman and teaching her Chala, Nida, and Hadlakat HaNer. That's what the whole ceremony is about. Anyways, we see over here that he got tricked. We go to Pasuk Chavav. ויאמר לבן, לא יעשה כן במקומנו לתת את צעירה לפני הבכירה. He says, we don't do this over here. That's not the way we do it. ויבוא גם אל רחל ויאהב גם את רחל מלאה. He says, okay, you know what? I'm going to take Leah, but now I want to get my Rachel. And it says over here now starts the beginning of what this lesson is about. As a matter, everything that we learned right now is just like an introduction to what we're really going to talk about. ויאהב גם את רחל מלאה. He says that Yaakov started to develop love for Rachel that was superior to Leah. ויעבוד עמו עוד 7 שנים אחרות. He was willing to work another 7 years just to have her. וירא השם כי שנואה לאה, ויפתח את רחמה ורחל עקרה. Hashem saw that now in the relationship of Yaakov, Leah and Rachel, Leah is hated, Snu'ah. And because she was Snu'ah, Vayiftach et Rachma, she was barren, she couldn't have children. Hashem made it where she could bear children, and Rachel was still barren. Now that we have almost like the body of Pesukim, let's start asking questions. First question. Was Yaakov tricked?
He knew, but he didn't know.
Was Yaakov tricked?
Of course.
Of course. Okay, we're asking the question.
He knew he was going to
Who's to blame? Rachel? Leah? Lavan? Okay, let's ask questions. My big question is, did he really hate Leah? You know what a harsh word is? Kisnu'ah Leah? Is it possible that Yaakov Avinu hated Leah? Okay, let's start answering some questions. It says, let's answer some questions. Was Yaakov tricked? Right? Who was to blame, Rachel or Leah? Because everybody had a part over here. In the Pesukim, in the Pshat, you don't see everything. You have to go a little bit into the Midrashim, a little bit into Gemarot, in order to pick up what's going on behind the scenes. I'll fill you in on a few things that are brought in Baba Batra, and also in Midrash Bereshit Rabbah. It says, Ve'ene le'arakot. The Gemara says in Baba Batra, on the 123rd page on the first side, שהייתה סבורה לעלות בגררו של עשיו ובוכה. She knew she was going to be the wife of Esav, like we said, the gadol לגדולה והקטן לקטנה. We said that they both were twins and they were going to have a shidduch. So if the firstborns are going to be together, that's it. Esav and Leah is the match that's going to happen. ובוכה שהיו הכל אומרים שני בנים לרבקה ושתי בנות ללבן, הגדולה לגדול והקטנה לקטן. So, if you recall, in last week's parasha, we have a little bit of a machloket. Who's the Bechor? Is it Esav or is it Yitzhak? Technically, it's Esav, but Yitzhak bought the Bechorah.
Yaakov, no?
So,
Yaakov.
I'm sorry, Yaakov bought the Bechorah. Okay, so now with machloket, who's the Bechor? Is it Esav or is it Yaakov? So it says, אנוכי עשיו בכורך, יש לי השב שאמר אמת. כי אחרי שקנה בכורה מעשיו, נמצא שיש בו חלק מעשיו, הבכור. You know what? Because he bought the בכורה, then who belongs to him?
Yeah.
Leah. Did Lavan do something wrong? Did Leah do something wrong? Let's continue. This one is sharp. You're going to hear this. This one. It says, I'll skip the Aramaic, I'll just go straight to the translation. In Bereshit Rabbah, it says, Kol halayla kara Yaakov leLeah Rachel. The entire night, Yaakov is calling Leah, Rachel, 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 and Leah is answering. She's answering him. והיא ענתה לו כאילו היא רחל. בבוקר ראה, והנה Leah, he wakes up in the morning, and he sees that it's Leah. But I'm talking to you, I'm telling you your name is Rachel. The whole night I'm talking to you, Rachel, you're answering me, but you're really Leah? אמר לה יעקב, רמאית בת רמאי, האם לא קראתי לך בלילה רחל וענית לי? Didn't I call you Rachel the whole night? And you answered me? You're a crook, the daughter of a crook. אמרה לו, האם יש ספר שאין לו תלמידים? He says, doesn't every book have students that study it? ממך למדתי לעשות כן. Tell me I learned from you. האם לא כך היה שאביך צעק לך עשיו ואתה ענית לו אנוכי עשיו בכורך? Boom! She gave it to him. She said, I learned from you. This tactic of you calling me Rachel and I'm answering because I'm Leah, it's like your father called you Esav and you're really Yaakov. Okay. Now, you should know, by the way, maybe a very strong point over here is that you know that Yaakov used to send for the 7 years, every Shabbat, every Chag, every chance he had, he would send Rachel gifts. Lavan would take it and give it to Leah. Lavan would take it and give it to Leah. Even when it came to the wedding dress, he took the wedding dress and he gave it to Leah. And Rachel sees this. Rachel got the simanim from Yaakov, and what she do? She gave it to Leah just so she won't embarrass her own sister. You have to understand who Mama Rachel is. You have to understand who she is. This is not so pashut what's happening here behind the scenes. Nobody's being tricked over here. Everybody knows what's going on. Is it Rachel's fault? Is it Leah's fault? Is it Lavan's fault? Is it Yaakov's fault? You know what? There's many ways to look at this. But the way that it happened, it's the way it's supposed to happen. Let's continue. The thing that bothered me a lot is the word snua. It's a very, very, very harsh word. Why snua? Could have said anything, could have used different types of words. Midrash Rabbah touches this, and it says, why is Leah called snua? שהייתה אומרת להינשא לשונא. Who was the hated one? Esav. So if she was supposed to be the Esav who's sanui, then she's supposed to be snua, just like him. Perfect match. So they called her snua because she belonged to the sanui, which is who? Esav. One answer. Furthermore, snua, היו הכל סומטין בה. מפרשי ימים היו סומטין בה. מלכי דרכים היו סומטין בה. אף הגיטות מאחורי הקורים היו סומטין בה. והיו... Basically, the whole town is talking about her. Everybody's talking about her. People that come from the ocean, from far away, people that are coming from the roads, everybody's talking about this. People that are sitting down and knitting to the light of the moon. והיו אומרים, what would they used to say about her? לאה זו אין סתרת גלויה. נראית צדקת ואינה צדקת. She says this Leah is, don't believe her. She looks like she's righteous, but she's not righteous. אילו הייתה צדקת, if she was righteous, לא הייתה מרמה באחותה. She would never trick her own sister. Meaning what? She's snua because of the actions that she did. She tricked her sister. That's why Leah was called snua. Continues to say that because people judged her and people were hating on her, not only was she snua by people, but she herself felt hated by the environment. Rabbeinu Bachya brings something also very, very nice. He brings over there, כי שנואה לאה, חס ושלום שישנא יעקב את לאה. No such thing that Yaakov can hate לאה. אבל יאמר עליה שנואה בערך אחר שהייתה אהובה ביותר. In other words, when you're making a comparison between two people, he happened to love Rachel more, so by default she's considered snua. That's what he says. If you go a little bit further down into the pirushim that come with it, he brought something from Ha'emunah v'Bitachon, from a book called Ha'emunah v'Bitachon. He says, כי השנאה היא נאמרת על רחל. He says, כי שנואה היא, רחל hated לאה. כי אוהב היה יעקב את אשתו, אלא רחל אחותה הייתה שונאה ומתקנאה בה. He says that the reason why Leah was hated is because Yaakov loved his wife Rachel, and she hated her, but it's a hate that came from jealousy. Where did this hate come from? From jealousy. והשנאה מחמת הקנאה, and as a matter of fact, the following פסוקים. Here, פרק ל' פסוק א', ותראה רחל כי ילדה ליעקב, after she gave birth, ותקנא רחל באחותה. The straight pasuk from the Chumash. She hated her sister out of jealousy. So we see there's a lot of different opinions of what snua. If we go to another pasuk Lamed Aleph, it says the word again. In Perek כ"ט למד א', וירא השם כי שנואה לאה, ויפתח את רחמה ורחל עקרה. When Hashem noticed the treatment of Leah, that she is being categorized as snua, what did he do to alleviate the situation? He allowed her to get pregnant. Why does getting pregnant change you from the status of being hated? So, Bereshit Rabbah, maybe I'll read it from over here also. In Bet, says, he brings it over here on the bracha that we say in Amidah. דבר אחר, סומך השם לכל הנופלים. Right? We say, Hashem סומך את כל הנופלים, right? All the people that fall, Hashem is able to lift them up. or he gives him some sort of like something to lean on. People that don't have equilibrium or balance, Hashem gives them something to lismoch on. Sumech Hashem lechol hanofilim. You would never think that Sumech Hashem lechol hanofilim has to do with who? With barren women. Look what it says. Sumech Hashem lechol hanofilim elu ha'akarot. Shehem noflim betoch batehem. That their honor falls in their homes when they don't have children. Vezokef lechol ha'kefufim, and he uplifts all the ones that are bent over. Kivan she'akadosh baruch hu pokedam bevanim v'niskafot. When Kadosh Baruch Hu gives a woman that doesn't have children the ability to bear a child, what does she do in the house? She picks up her head. I'm a woman. I'm bearing children. I'm living up to my role. Could you imagine? I mean, us as men over here, we don't
אני
understand.
שמעתי שלאה רצתה שתזכה לקדוש ברוך הוא, שיפתח את הרחם שלה, בגלל זה כאילו היא הייתה מרגיזה אותה.
כמו חנה, the same thing with חנה פנינה that she did.
לא, אבל היה לה כוונה טובה ללאה, כי היא רצתה שרחל...
זה לקראת סוף הפרשה, היא כיוונה שמה, עם הדודאים. So it says, אלו העקרות שהם נופלים בתוך בתיהם. Those are the barren women that lose their status in the house because they're barren. וזוקף לכל הכיפופים, and he uplifts all the bent over, כיוון שהקדוש ברוך הוא פוקדם בבננים, הם נזקפות. As soon as הקדוש ברוך הוא blesses them with being pregnant with boys, their status is reinstated in the house and they're able to walk around upright. תדע לך שכן לאה. And this is exactly what happened with Leah. שנואת הבית הייתה. She was the one that was snua in the house. וכיוון שפקדה הקדוש ברוך הוא, נזקפה. And as soon as הקדוש ברוך הוא was able to get her pregnant, ויפתח רחמן, she was able to get pregnant with God's blessing, her status in the house was lifted. And that's what the pasuk says. Vayar Hashem ki snua. Hashem saw that she's snua. What is he going to do to Leah? Vayiftach et rachma. What happened? He uplifted her. Now, the Khatam Sofer has a nice point over here. I wanted to bring it also. He says, when she got pregnant, who did she have? Who were the two first children of Leah? Reuven and Shimon. Right? Reu, Ben, look, it's a son, I have a boy. Right? And what's Shimon? Hashem Shama. Hashem heard her prayers. So let's see what Khatam Sofer says. My ta'ama nikra Reuven. Why is Reuven called Reuven? Kira'a Hashem. Hashem saw. She's snua. ושמעון, what's the, my ta'ama של שמעון נקרא שמעון? כי שמע Hashem. Hashem heard her prayers. So he's asking a question, מה נשתנה מראייה לשמיעה? What is the difference between looking and listening? Seeing or hearing? מתחילה שנאה יעקב ופירש ממנה שלא לשמש עם השנואה. In the beginning, Yaakov genuinely did not like her. And he actually, parash mimena, he stayed away from her. And he didn't want to have relations with her because he lo leshamesh im hasnoah. He didn't want to have relations with the one that he didn't like. Achu karu bara, but the minute that he saw that she got pregnant, chazar le'avata, all of a sudden he loves her again. Goes to show you that, you know, sometimes people struggle in relationships and marriages. Sometimes that there's a tension, there's no children. And sometimes there's a tension when between the couple and the love is not strong enough between the two of them. But as soon as she got pregnant, Yaakov, that said snua, all of a sudden what? Chazar ahavata, now he loves her. Now, I want you to remember this point, put it in the back of your head, because this is the starting point of how everything turns around. At the end, we will see what was the true intention of this word senua. Furthermore, Ramban writes, all the people used to, again, gossip. All the people are talking Lashon Hara. They don't believe that he had the relations with her. She's snua. But when she got pregnant with Shimon, then it was clear that Yaakov doesn't hate her. If he hated her, he wouldn't be with her. That was proof. Continues to say, אך שמע בני האדם מדברים מוזרת בלבנה, לאמור שנואה היא זו. And it says over there, what's מוזרת בלבנה? נשים הטבות בשוק לאור הלבנה, ודרכן לסוח שיחות בטלות ולדבר בחשודות שבעיר. Imagine, woman sitting over there, doing the, knitting to the light of the moon and talking about, that one, she's very suspicious. I don't know, I heard her husband doesn't like her. I don't know if they're spending it. She hasn't gotten pregnant for a long time. You know what? I think he hates her. Shh. You can imagine. So it says that that's what he used to do. Lemor snua hizo, vayad shama Hashem kisnua anochim. What did Hashem hear? Hashem heard the gossip. People talking about Leah. Al ken natan li ben sheni, levarek ki ahuva ani. That's why Shimon is the second one, because Hashem heard the gossip. He says, now I'm ahuva. That's it. Pa. First one was a stamp, second one is a stamp. The pasuk say Levi was the stamp, because now Yelaveni. Now he has to, she has one in one hand. She has one in another hand. That's it. She ran out of hands. She needs Yaakov, I need your help. You have to hold Levi's hands. She says, now it's evident. We can walk in the street and everybody can see that I am ahuva. Let's go to Perek Chavtet, Pasuk Lamed Dalet. It says over there, ותער עוד ותלת בן ותאמר עתה הפעם ילווה אישי אליי כי ילדתי לו 3 בנים על כן קרא שמו לוי. Now when we just said that she had a third child, now he's going to escort me everywhere. Nobody can talk anymore. I'm in everybody's face. I have 3 children with him. I'm not hated. Somebody that hates somebody doesn't have 3 children with them. Not only that, everybody knows that the whole purpose of Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov is the 12 tribes of Am Yisrael. Right? If Abraham has Rachel, Leah, Bilha, and Zilpah, 12 divided by 4 is what? 3. I did my share. I have Shimon. I have Reuven. I have Shimon. I have Levi. I checked my box. I did my share of the 12 tribes of Israel. So in other words, if there were any people that were going to talk or say anything negative, she was fully covered at this particular point. Now that we figured out this Ahava Senua situation, I want to turn your attention. Now this is like the class is going to go completely in a different direction. This was like, just to say, this was Hakdama. A very good Hakdama, very thorough Hakdama. If we go to Parashat Vayetze, Perek Chaf Aleph, is a very, very interesting pasuk. Perek Chaf Aleph, Tet Vav. כי תהיינה לאיש 2 נשים. האחת אהובה ואחת שנואה. וילדו לו בנים האהובה והשנואה. It says if there's a situation where a guy has 2 wives, one is beloved and one is hated, and they both have children. The beloved has children, and the one that's senua also has children. והיה בן הבכור לשנאה. But the first one belonged to the one that is hated, to the snua. And when the day comes when the person wants to give his Yerusha, his inheritance, to all his children, he has Ahuva, Senua. Senua is the first one to give him children. Now he wants to give the inheritance. לא יוכל לבקר את בן האהובה על פני בן השנואה הבכור. He can't choose the firstborn of the one that he loves. He has to go and give it to the firstborn of the one that he hates. כי את הבכור בן השנואה יכיר לתת לו פי 2 בכל אשר ימצא לו. That's the law, that's the halacha, that the bechor gets a double portion. So if he's got 2 wives, 2 bechorim, one is loved, one is hated, the one that is bechor from the senua, since he was first, regardless that he likes the beloved better, he gets a double portion. כי הוא ראשית אונו לא משפט הבכורה. Because he is his true firstborn, and he is going to get the mishpat, the halacha of the bechorah, that he gets a double portion. When I read this pesukim, I right away think of two scenarios. No, you tell me. Who had a wife that was hated and a wife that was loved?
ישמעאל
Chazak u'baruch. The first one, Abraham had Sarah, Ahuva, Hagar, Snua. Who was Abraham Avinu's firstborn? Ishmael. Here is the ben of the Senua, Ishmael. Yitzchak Avinu is the ben of the Ahuva. What do? You give Ishmael double portion? And if we just go into what we learned today, we have Rachel and we have Leah. Rachel, Ahuva. Leah, Snua. Leah has Reuven as the Bechor. Rachel has Yosef as the Bechor. Who gets it? We'll get to it. I want to take you to a Gemara. Baba Batra, Kuf Chav Vav. On the second page. Listen to this. It's a Mishnah. It says, Haomer ish ploni, beni bechor lo yitol pi shnayim. Ish ploni beni lo yira shem achiv. לא אמר כלום, שיתנה מה שכתוב בתורה. A person says, האומר איש פלוני, בני בכור, לא ייטול פי שניים. He says, you see this guy? He's my בכור. He doesn't get a double portion. לא אמר כלום, doesn't count. Why? שיתנה מה שכתוב בתורה. What, you want to cancel a pasuk in the Torah? The Torah says that there's a law. How can you go against the law of the Torah? You can't do it. וישווה להם את הבכור לדברי הקיימים, ואם אמר משום ירושה, לא אמר כלום. And it says over there, I'll read it from here. It's like this. It says, the Mishnah says, "Haomer ish ploni beni bechor lo yitol pi shnayim." He says, when a person says that my firstborn, this guy is not going to take a double portion, Adam lo yechol lo latet lebeno bechor 2 times. You don't have that as an option. You can't go against the pasuk in the Torah, because the pasuk in the Torah says, "Ben hasenua mekabel pi shnayim." So Rashbam says, דבריו קיימים. When he says בני בכורי לא ייטול פי שניים, it works. Big חידוש. How could it be? So the Rashbam says, דבריו קיימים, שיש כוח באדם ליתן ממנו במתנה. He says, as long as the guy is alive, what can he say? I'm giving it to you as a gift. Meaning what? If a person dies, right? And all the Yerushim are coming, that firstborn, you can't take him out of that position. You can't. But if the guy's still alive, he says, oh, here's my children. You see that firstborn? No, I don't want him to take double. I want him to get double. How do you do it? There's a loophole. What's the loophole? You give it as a matana. So if you go to Hagar, she's snua. Ishmael is the benson of the senua. He's supposed to get double. So when the time comes for Abraham to give his tremendous wealth, it by law it has to go to Ishmael. איך הוא ייתן ליצחק את כל הירושה? How can he give Yitzchak all the Yerusha? Maybe you guys never ever paid attention to this, but look how beautiful it is right now.
gift, no?
But you just said B'chaim, when you're alive, you're allowed to give it as a gift.
And what did he do? פרק כ"ה, פסוק ה', or even we could even do so it says ויוסף אברהם ויקח אישה ושמה כתובה ותהלה לו את זמרם ויוקשן ואת מדן ואת מדיין ואת יושבק ואת שוח ויוקשן וילד שב ודן עשירים תשעים גדולים names and names and names and names and it says over there פסוק ה' ויתן אברהם את כל אשר לו ליצחק. It's not possible, it's supposed to be all לישמעאל. next פסוק ולבני הפילגשים אשר לאברהם נתן אברהם מתנות. He gave him matanot. The loophole from the Gemara, Abraham already used with Ishmael. Unbelievable. That we were learning the Gemara and Abraham Avinu was able to make a with Ishmael that what? Here, you guys, take all the matanot. But everything? Yitzchak. Why? When he's alive, he can do that. By the way, they said that matanot that he gave them is shemot shel tum'ah. That's when all the people in China and in India, they have certain kochot that they use. It's from Abraham. Now, what about Rachel and Leah? Leah is Snu'ah, and she has Reuven. Rachel is Ahuva, and she has Yosef. So, Shvile Pinchas brings this question. He said something incredible over here. כי תהיינה לאיש שתי נשים, אלו רחל ולאה. האחת אהובה, שנאמר ויאהב גם את רחל מלאה, ואחת שנואה, שנאמר והיה השם כי שנואה לאה. So he brings us to פסוקים. והיה בן בכל השנואה, זה ראובן, שהיה בכל לאה, והיה בן בכל את בניו, כשבא להכית את ישראל בשעת מיתתו, לא יוכל לבקר את יוסף שהיה בן רחל במקום שהיה ראובן. Over here there was a problem. He couldn't give it to Yosef. So what did he do? How in the situation of Rachel and Leah, the Ahuva got the double and not the Snua? He brings it over here from Midrash Agada. בוא נעשה חשבון. כמה שבטים נולדו מלאה? And you know that Leah had Zilpa and Rachel had Bilha. So the children that of their servants also belong to them. אז בוא נעשה חשבון.
8 ו-4, לא?
בדיוק. Leah had 6. ראובן, שמעון, לוי, יהודה, יששכר, זבולון. Zilpa, Gad and Asher. That's 8. Rachel had Yosef and Binyamin, and Bilhah had Dan and Naphtali. So you have 8 from Leah and 4 from Rachel. 8 is exactly 2 times 4, which basically means what? Double portion. The Ahuva also got double. How beautiful is that? Yalkut Reuveni brings something also very interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. He says, מאחר שיעקב היה במחשבתו על רחל, we know in the beginning, Yaakov wanted who? Rachel. When he got married, he thought under the chuppah is who? Rachel. The entire time that he's with her the entire night, he's thinking that it's who? Rachel. Right? So, מאחר שיעקב היה במחשבתו על רחל, לכן ניתנה בכורה ליוסף. He says, no, actually the בכורה was given to Yosef. לכן אמרו, ראו בן. He says, that's why, look, what did Leah say? ראו בן. Look, it's a boy. Right? שאינו מיוחד ללאה. ולא אמרו, ראו בני. Meaning, she didn't say like, it's mine, he's my firstborn. She said what? Look, it's a boy. In other words, what? In order to say that Rachel would have the option to say, that he is her firstborn and he is the Ikar. אבל יעקב לא היה מחשבתו לשום חטא, שהרי לא ידע שהיא לאה. So he didn't have on it. So Yosef actually is considered, according to Yalkut Reuveni, that he is the Bechor. So, on a deeper level, there's a few very strong lessons here. But something that maybe you also don't notice is that at the end of his life, what was the last wish of Yaakov? One of the last things that Yaakov, he's dying. What's the last few words coming out of his mouth? In Perek Memtet, Pasuk Chavtet, it says, Memtet Chavtet, Vayitzav otam v'yomer elehem, Ani ne'esaf el ami. Yaakov is telling his children, that's it, I'm going back. Kivruti el avotai. Make sure to bury me where? With my forefathers in Me'arat HaMachpelah. El ha'me'ara asher b'sdei Efron achiti. במערה אשר בשדה המכפלה אשר פני ממרא בארץ כנען אשר קנה אברהם את השדה מאת עפרון החיתי לאחוזת קבר. He's giving him the GPS, the ways. You know where you're taking me? After this, straight to this city, straight to this town, straight to this cave, straight to this burial place. שמה קברו את אברהם ואת שרה, אשתו. שמה קברו את יצחק ואת רבקה, אשתו. Look at the pattern. Over there they buried Abraham and his wife Sarah. That's where they buried Yitzchak and his wife Rivka. Veshama kavarti et Leah. And that's why I buried. What's missing here? The pattern. My wife Leah. He loves her, or is she snua? Ahuva or snua now? Ahuva all the way. Ahuva all the way. He wants to be buried next to her. Because at the end of his life, what does he see? He sees all his children around him. Who raised him? Who raised all these children? Rachel died young. Leah raised the whole family. She gave him a Yehuda. She gave him a Levi, a Issachar. He's taking a look. He's like, well, look at this great family. Who's the great woman behind this man? He looks at Leah. Bury me next to Leah. We started off thinking Snu'ah. She got pregnant, she became Ahuva. And at the end of his life, he can't see himself not buried next to his wife, Leah. Furthermore, Rachel, it said, she's Yefat To'ar, Yefat Mar'eh. She's beautiful on the inside, beautiful on the outside. You know what? She's perfect. What's the problem with perfect? Hashem doesn't like perfect. Hashem likes tikkunim. What's Yefat To'ar, Yefat To'ar? Okay, so you got the perfect wife. What was Leah? She had the over her head that she was going to marry a gangster in Esav. Her father was a crook. Her husband didn't want her. She was barren. She got stopped. What? Non-stop challenges. And at the end, she's the success story. Leah is the success story. Leah was the most important one. Even though that we know that Rachel was Akarat Habayit and she was the Ikar. Yes. It started with her. Yaakov wanted to marry Rachel, and that's how this whole thing started. But at the end, when you look down on paper, who performed? On paper, who brought the most children? Who brought the most change into the world? Who worked on herself and became someone that he must be buried her at the end? Leah. That's the story of the Jew. The story of the Jew is to come to this world and do tikkunim, tikkunim, tikkunim. That's what we are. Hashem doesn't want perfect people. If you're perfect, you're perfect. Baruch Hashem, may God bless you. Have a great life. But 99.99% of the people are what? Are here to fix. And Leah is the true example of a person who had a challenging life and made the best of it. She lived in a house where they called her Snu'ah. They talked about her in the street. She wasn't wanted. She was supposed to marry a gangster. She was fighting with her sister. She was, oh, wow, what's going on over here? And at the end, this is the success story of Leah. Hashem רוצה לוחמים, לא מושלמים. Hashem wants fighters. People that fight for their life.
Warriors.
Huh?
Warriors.
Warriors. Not Golden State. חמישה חומשי תורה warriors. חמישה חומשי warriors.
Perfect, this is only הקדוש ברוך הוא. Perfect.
Huh?
Perfect, this is only הקדוש ברוך הוא.
That's why when people come into this world, הם לא רוצים להשתנות, they don't want to change. אני ככה. What do you mean אני ככה? What do you mean, the cookie cutter? You make the shit like this? Okay, put you in the vitrina. אתה ככה. If you don't understand that you constantly have to grow, you constantly have to change, Hashem is constantly going to challenge you. That's what this world is about. This world is about being challenged and passing. Failing and getting up again. If you don't understand that that's the tachlis, the tachlit of this olam, you're missing the boat. You don't even know what this world is about. In conclusion, I want to add one other layer to this lesson. One other way to learn this sugya. Hashem wants fighters. We fight all year. The fight against Yetzer Hara. Fight him all year, we fight him all our lives. And when it comes to read this pasuk in Parashat Ki Tetzeh, when is it? Parashat Ki Tetzeh is around the time of Elul. The time of what? The Teshuvah season. Ki Tetzeh la milchama, and all the darshanim, against the Yetzer Hara. Yesimcha Hashem, untano Hashem elokecha beyadecha. Just fight him, and Hashem will give you the success. He'll put him in your hand. And just a few pasukim later, Ki tiyena leish shte nashim, achat ahuva, v'achat snua. The whole sugya of what we learned about is in Parashat Ki Tetzeh in the month of Elul. So if you allow me, it's a little an Elul chidush. If you can remember it for Elul, it's great. But if not, also you can understand how we can learn this beautiful sugya and still have another layer to it. It says, Ki tiyena ish shte nashim. Which shte nashim? One is ahuva and one is snua. Which one is ahuva? That's Chodesh Elul. That's the month that you're doing teshuvah. What a month. We get so connected, we get up for slichot. We love Elul. It wipes out, notnim lebetula 12 chodesh, we give the Elul, wipes away all the past 11 months. We love Elul. What is the snua? That's a shana me'achora, kol ha'chatayim, kol ha'avonot. I hate the past year, right? The past 11 months is the snua, Elul is the ahuva. And it says over there, v'yaldu lo banim, right? Ha'uva v'asnua, v'ya ben ha'bechol ha'sniya. So the ben ha'senua is the bechol, which is the whole year. That's the one that gets a double portion. And ben ha'uva is one portion. So Elul has a one portion. The entire year of the Senua is a double portion. Single portion versus double portion. We have a concept of teshuvah. מי שעושה תשובה מאהבה, זדונות הופכים למה? זכויות. So if the senua is the bechol, gets a double portion, right? And you do it out of ahava, what happens? כל החטאים של השנה מתחפלים. So we know, תשובה מיראה מאפס את החטאים. תשובה מאהבה הופך זדונות לזכויות. So, ben asnua, it gets a double portion because of the things that we do the entire year. But what happens if you do teshuvah me'ahava? Everything gets doubled, which means what? That in the time of teshuvah me'ahava, when we do the teshuvah season, which is for the entire 11 months, we take the entire hated and make it beloved. And we know that when we do out of ahava, what do you get? A double portion. You go from owing to having. Hashem varech atem.
שמח לכם, שיתו ליבכם נחלה, פסגו אמנותן למען תספרו לדור האחרון, בעזרת השם, that we, you know, when we read this parasha, ki tetzeh, and we see the word senua, we understand it's not so simple that she's hated, but there's a lot more to it, and the more you dig, you see that there's a depth to this story, and it's more intricate than just the pshat that we read and the Rashi that's over there, and that Be'ezrat Hashem will be able to have זיווגים הגונים, ילדים כשרים, ומשיח וגאולה. Now.
חזק וברוך.
חזק וברוך.